Jai Hind children, welcome back to our science class. Let us continue the chapter 8, Winds, Storms and Cyclones. The next is about wind currents. The wind is the movement of air which depends on the difference in air pressure in two regions. Air moves from the region of high pressure to the region of low pressure in the atmosphere. This difference in air pressure is created by uneven heating or unequal heating on the earth. The region where the air rises, an area of low pressure is created, while the region where the air sinks, an area of high pressure is created. So, wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. The situations are: first one, uneven heating between the equator and the poles. The region of the earth which is close to the equator of the earth gets the maximum heat from the sun. Therefore, the air in these regions gets warm and rises, creating an area of low air pressure. The cooler air from the region of up to 30 degrees latitudes belt on either side of the equator moves or rushes towards the equator and replaces the warm rising air. This makes the wind to blow from the north and south directions towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than at latitudes about 60 degrees. Therefore, the warmer air moves upward and colder air rushes in. This makes the wind blow from the poles of the earth towards the warmer region up to about 60-degree latitudes.
Wind currents are created due to uneven heating between the equator and the poles, and also due to uneven heating between land and water. First, let us know about uneven heating between the equator and the poles. As we already know, the regions close to the equator gets maximum heat from the sun. The air in these regions gets warm. The warm air rises and the cooler air from the other regions in the 0 to 30 degrees latitude belt on either side of the equator moves in. These winds blow from the north and the south towards the equator. At the poles, the air is colder than that at latitudes about 60 degrees. The warm air at these latitudes rises up, and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take its place. In this way, wind circulates from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds flow in the north-south direction from north to south or from south to north. A change in direction of wind is caused by the rotation of the earth.
Second reason for the generation of wind currents is uneven heating of land and water. During summer, the earth near the equator warms faster than the water in the oceans. The air above the land gets warmer and rises up in the sky, creating a low pressure area. Therefore, the winds flow from the oceans towards the land. These winds carry a lot of moisture with them and bring rain. It is a part of the water cycle. These rain-bearing winds are called the monsoon winds. During winter, the direction of the wind gets reversed. The wind blows from the land to the sea due to the difference in air temperature between the land and sea. This happens because during winter, the land cools down faster than the water in the oceans, and the temperature of water in the ocean is higher than that of land. The warm air over the ocean rises up, creating a region of low pressure, and cooler air from the land rushes towards the ocean. Thus, the air flows from land to ocean carrying only a little water vapor, hence bring only a small amount of rain in the winter season.
heating of land and water. During daytime, the land gets hotter. Warm air rises up, giving space to the cool air coming from the sea. This is called as sea breeze. At night, land gets cool fast. Warm air from the sea rises up and cool air from the land blows towards the sea. This is called as land breeze. Warm air from the sea carries water to the clouds, which condenses and precipitates as rainfall. So, we say that monsoon winds carry water and cause rainfall. This maintains the water cycle in the environment. Most of the countries in the world depend on rainfall for their water utilities. But rainfall is not always good for us. Sometimes it ends up in disasters, creating more loss to plant, animal, and human lives. Let us now discuss about two such disasters, thunderstorms and cyclones.
Next is about thunderstorms.
Thunderstorms. Can you tell where does lightning come from? And why does lightning sometimes strike the ground? Let's find the answers. A storm with lightning and thunder is called a thunderstorm. It develops in hot, humid tropical areas like India very frequently. They are formed by the uplifting of warm and humid air. When humid air is lifted, it cools down and the moisture in the air condenses to form cloud. Water droplets in the cloud continue to grow in size. As the cloud extends further upward, water droplets fall down, creating sound and lightning. We call this event as thunderstorm.
Precautions to be taken during a thunderstorm. A thunderstorm is accompanied by lightning, which is a giant electric spark. It may kill people, animal, and can damage buildings, etc. Therefore, you must take the following precautions during a thunderstorm to protect ourselves from the lightning. When you are in open area, do not take shelter under an isolated tree or building. If you are in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. Do not lie on the ground. Do not take shelter under an umbrella having a metallic end. Never sit near a window, open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds, etc. to take shelter. One can take shelter in a car or a bus. Do not go in the water. If you are in the water, get out and go inside a building. When you are inside, do not sit near an open window. Close the doors and windows properly. Do not touch or operate any electrical devices or telephone. Do not watch TV. Next is about cyclones. A cyclone is a weather condition consisting of a system of high-speed winds revolving around a central area of very low pressure. Cyclones develop over tropical seas. It is a violent storm with a wind speed of 150 to 250 km per hour. It is accompanied by strong winds and heavy rains. Then, structure of a cyclone. The center of a cyclone is a calm area and is called the eye of the storm. The diameter of the eye varies from 10 to 30 km. It is a region free of clouds and has light winds. Around this calm and clear eye, there is a cloud region of about 150 km in size. In this region, there are high-speed winds, that is 150 to 250 km per hour, and thick clouds with heavy rains. Away from this region, the wind speed gradually decreases.
Cyclones generally occur in three stages: tropical cyclones, severe cyclones, and supercyclones. When the storm in a cyclone blows at a speed of less than 74 miles per hour, it is called a tropical cyclone. When it gets intense and the speed is between 75 to 120 miles per hour, then it becomes a cyclone or a severe cyclone. When the speed increases for more than 120 miles per hour, it becomes a supercyclone. How are these cyclones formed? Where are they initiated? Hurricanes, typhoons, what are they? Let's see. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to DNA so that you don't miss out any of the new videos that we post. Cyclone is a general term used by meteorologists to describe any rotating, organized cloud that originate over waters. Cyclones, hurricanes, typhoons, one event but different names depending on the location. In the Atlantic and the Northeast Pacific, it is called hurricane. And in the Northwest Pacific, it is termed as typhoon, and in the South Pacific and Indian Ocean, it is called a cyclone. You can also classify them based on hemispheres, the northern ones as hurricanes and the southern ones as cyclones. There are also a few other differences in them apart from where they originate, like the cyclones are usually clockwise, but the hurricanes are usually counterclockwise. Where do these cyclones originate? When the atmospheric pressure is low over a large water body that is still and the temperature of the water is more than 26.5 degrees Celsius, then they form into a cyclone. Before getting into any deeper, let us understand what is atmospheric pressure in general terms. The density of air in our atmosphere differs from place to place. They are not the same everywhere. Atmospheric pressure is the weight of air acting against the surface of the earth along with gravity. Air in the atmosphere creates a pressure on Earth's surface called the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is more on the Earth's surface, and as we move upwards, there is less amount of air and hence the atmospheric pressure decreases. When there is low atmospheric pressure on a large water body on Earth's surface, they turn into a cyclone. This process of thin air circulating, strengthening, and developing into a cyclonic formation is called cyclogenesis. So how does it become a huge, stormy, cloudy cyclone? When the atmospheric pressure is low, the warm air rises to fill the gaps and the cold air goes down as they have moisture in it. The warm air, as it reaches the place, it becomes more warm and it rises rapidly, thus creating more gap. So the surrounding air rushes in to fill the place. These filling air travels at greater speed and from longer distances. When they reach the area, instead of filling the gaps, they start circulating and thus creating a spiral. After that, any air traveling to fill the gap has to join the spiral because the air cannot pass through the spiral directly. Usually, tropical cyclones range from 100 kilometers to 2000 kilometers in diameter. When a large amount of air is rushing in to fill the gap, they form huge cyclones and the spiral structure becomes larger and larger, penetrating the clouds and thus creating thunderstorms. Tropical cyclones can grow up to a height of 10 kilometers and they last from 3 to 7 days depending upon the speed of the storm, how far it is away from the land, and how big it is. Cyclones usually fade away or die when they cross the land area. There is a misconception that the buildings and the other interruptions on the land surface act as a barrier stopping the cyclone. But that's not it. When the cyclonic storm crosses the land surface, the main source of the cyclone, that is the warm water, is taken away. Cyclones work with moist, warm air. So when it crosses a cold water surface, or a land surface, they die. Since 957 AD, that is for almost 1000 years now, there has been at least 11,982 recorded tropical cyclones in the Atlantic, Pacific and the Indian Oceans. And so far, the largest ever recorded is a typhoon tip that occurred in 1979 in the South Pacific Ocean near Philippines, which was 2,200 kilometers in diameter with a wind speed of 190 miles per hour, that is 305 kilometers per hour. It lasted for almost 20 days, and this is said to be the largest and the strongest cyclone ever recorded in the history. For more informational videos on science, technology, and history, subscribe to DNA.
And about effective safety measures. On the part of the government, cyclone forecast and warning system must be installed. Information about cyclone should be given to the people in time through rapid communication system. Construction of cyclone shelter in cyclone prone areas. An administrative arrangement should be taken to move people faster to safer places. Then on the part of the people should follow the essential guidelines provided by the agencies through TV, radio, phones, etc. A proper arrangement should be made to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals, etc. to the safer places. Avoid driving on a road which is underwater because flood might have damaged the road. Phone numbers of all the emergency services like police, fire brigade, hospitals, etc. should be kept ready. Some other precautions to be taken when you are staying in a cyclone hit area. Do not drink water that could be contaminated. Store drinking water for emergencies. Do not touch wet switches and fallen power lines. Do not go out just for the sake of fun. Cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. Do not pressurize the rescue force by making under demands. Do not enter into damaged buildings. Next is about tornadoes. A tornado is a violent spinning storm in the shape of a dark funnel with a narrow end on the land. These are formed over the sea and are called waterspouts. Tornado develops from the thunderstorm and is formed mostly on the land. These are violent and can reach the speeds of more than 500 km per hour, destroying everything in their path. These are not very common in India but occurs in Canada and the USA. Most of the tornadoes are weak. When the warm air from the Earth's surface rises up, it whirls around it and causes very high-speed winds. These are much smaller than cyclones, that is, from a few meters to a few hundred meters, but the wind speed can rise as high as 500 km per hour. The funnel of tornado sucks up everything at its bases like dust, debris, cars, trees, and even houses.
Cell updrafts may rotate, becoming a mesocyclone. This mesocyclone is the defining character of the rarest and most violent breed of thunderstorms, the supercell. And it's these supercells that are responsible for the majority of the world's violent tornadoes. Thankfully, most of these tornadoes occur.
Next is protection from tornado. The following precautions should be taken for protection during a tornado. One should take the shelter in a room situated deep inside the home, having no windows or in a basement. Shut all the doors and windows and take shelter under the study table. Bend down on your knees and protect your head and neck using your arms. Stay indoors until it is safe to come out. If someone is in the vehicle and tornado begins, he should get out of the vehicle and take shelter in a ditch or low-lying area and lie flat in it. Keep distance from electric wires and damaged areas. We have learned that all storms are low-pressure systems. Wind speed plays an important role in the formation of storms. It is therefore important to measure the wind speed. The instrument that measures the wind speed is called an anemometer. That's all for today's class. Thank you.